Hello, I'm Kathleen, and Larry and I are here today with Laura Levine. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hi, Laura.
I was trying to think of how long I've known you, because I kind of feel like you were taking classes at Raleigh Little Theater when I first met you.
Yes.
Were you a teenager or younger?
It's hard for me to remember too. I think I was taking classes probably in middle school, and then I really got involved mostly doing Teens on Stage in high school.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you remember the shows you did on Teens on Stage, or one of them?
I did Pinocchio, and I did Baba Yaga and the Yellow Sunflower.
Oh, I remember you in that. Yes.
Who directed those two shows?
Linda did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Really nice. Oh. So when did you get the acting bug?
So it's so funny. Someone was asking me this recently, but I remember my first role was in the first grade, and I got picked to say a line in this play we did called Once Upon a Lily Pad, and there were only 3 first graders in my class who got a line. So I was like, wow, my teacher really thinks I can do this. Yeah, so that was my first experience on stage, but my cousins were taking classes at RLT for a long time also, and I thought they were just the coolest people on earth. And so I was like, that was kind of how I got into it. I was like, if they're doing it, I want to do it too.
I remember like 3rd grade, I grew up in Southern Pines. We went to the auditorium and we were told these are real actors on stage doing a play. And I was thinking that's what a real actor looks like. Probably college kids, but.
Yeah.
What was the first show you were in, not counting grade school and high school?
The first show after high school?
Sure.
Ooh. So I went to Elon my freshman year of college, and I assistant stage managed there. So the first show I ASM'd was Kiss Me Kate. So that was probably my first really big, it's not professional, it's college, but it felt like it was.
Right.
So I was ASM for that, and then for a musical called 110 in the Shade at Elon. Those were really fun.
They have a great drama school there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was cast for their Alpha Psi Omega production. It was student directed. I was cast as the understudy for all of the younger female roles in, oh gosh, now I can't think of what the show was called. But that was a really cool experience too. And we got to do a couple scenes. All the understudies did a couple scenes as a showcase kind of thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you have a mentor when you were starting out?
My biggest mentor growing up was Allison Lawrence, my voice teacher. Because when I think back, I'm trying to give myself advice now, at an audition or whatever, I think back to things that she said. And find myself saying a lot of the same things, if you don't write it down, you're not going to know it, write it down. And that definitely came from her.
That's great. That's great. Did she give you any other great advice, or has anybody along the way given you some great advice that you always take?
Yeah, I think the best advice that I have received is just about feeling successful after an audition based on your preparation and making it through the audition, because that's really hard, So I think that's helpful, not just in that scenario, but with job interviews or, all that kind of stuff, is just how to feel like you've done well, regardless of what the result might be.
Have you ever been to an audition? I've been in auditions and my leg's shaking. I'm going stop shaking your leg, Larry.
Or the paper is shaking when you're reading it.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you have a favorite?
Now we did it again. You go ahead.
Do you have a favorite theater or movie actor?
I don't know. On Instagram, I follow Jessica Vosk, who played Elphaba on Broadway. I didn't see her perform, but I really she has an amazing voice, first of all. But I like her personality. I mean, I don't know her, of course, but from following her online, I've enjoyed watching her performances and covers of songs and things.
That's so cool. You were talking about auditions. Do you have a worst audition story?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually. So I went to Enlo for high school, and you could audition for placement into theater 1 or 2 as a freshman. So I decided to change my monologue at the last minute, and I spent the whole day memorizing it leading up to this audition. And I walked in and I started and just immediately forgot the whole thing. And I never do that. I usually prepare way ahead of time. So I remember I stopped and I just said, "Can I do a different monologue?" And I went back to the one I was originally going to do. And I did get to start in theater too. I was shocked. But I think also, it's kind of because of that advice of like, okay, I messed up. It's fine. Just going to try again.
Wow.
I had a theater mentor years ago. He taught at Wayne State, and he would every summer, like a lot of directors go out and, they casting for the regional shows. And he said, this actor came in and said, "I'm doing a monologue from Dick 3 and Hank 5. And he said,
Oh, God.
Move on.
He did not get cast, I'm sure.
No, he didn't.
No. Wow.
What is one of your favorite shows you've been in and why?
I would say I have two favorites. My most favorite memory is being in Little Women, the musical, in high school. And I played Beth, and that's been like my biggest role in a musical. But that was just really special because my grandmother has 4 daughters and had these little Women dolls in her house growing up. And I remember like my mom would say, "Oh, this one was me and this is my sister," So that was really special, and it's a smaller cast. And so everyone really got close through doing that.
You could put the dolls on the set just to.
We should have. We didn't, but we should have. That would be cute.
Is there a role you've always wanted to play?
I would love to be Penny in Hairspray. I think that would be so fun, but I would definitely have to go back to taking voice lessons.
Right.
But other than that, I would love to be Laura in The Glass Menagerie. That's one of my dream roles.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
We'll get Kathleen to play Amanda.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. What's the best type of actor to be on stage with?
Definitely somebody who is willing to kind of play with you and doesn't get thrown off if you try something new, especially in rehearsal, of course, not in the performance. And I think it's just important that it's someone that you get along with and can communicate with well, someone who listens well when they're performing and is flexible, definitely.
That's great.
We all have great moments and wonderful moments that we remember forever. Can you tell us some of your best moments or what makes a moment great?
On stage?
Yes.
One of my favorites is from a show I did with you, Kathleen, in OPQRS. I remember, there's 2. One of them, all the costumes were orange because that was the whole thing about this play. And I was on stage and I realized I didn't take off my watch, which was not orange. And so I waited until there was a part where I was sort of hiding behind, like in this yard, and I took off my watch really slowly and hid it in one of the flower pots and got it after the show.
Oh my gosh, that's great. And not only were the costumes orange, but every single piece of anything was orange, right?
Yes.
That was great.
And I realized right in the first scene, I looked down and I was like, oh no, it was like navy blue or something. Yeah, and I remember in that same show, I forgot a line, but I didn't know I forgot a line. I just knew someone wasn't saying their line. So I'm looking at Jesse Gephardt. He's looking at me. And he eventually covered for it. And later I was like, Jesse, what happened? He's like, you didn't say your line. I was like, oh, sorry.
Maybe the audience was colorblind the day you had your blue watch on.
Yes. I know. Oh my gosh, that's great. What is this probably was answered already, but what was another like funny thing that happened that went wrong on the stage? You have any of those?
Yeah, in The Little Women, my favorite show I've done, there was one performance where I tripped over the couch in the middle of a dance. There's like the whole huge couch. And then I stepped on the hem of my dress. Like I had to squat down for something. My heel got caught on the hem and I couldn't get back up.
Well, I'm sure it made it look very realistic. Yeah. That happens to us all, right?
Yeah.
I was doing Whose Life Is Anyway right after college, and I was playing the young doctor. And at the end, there's an actor who's playing the lawyer, and he has this long testimony. And I nodded off when during the show. It was so old. Oh, I think I woke up before I had my
Wow.
line. But, yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Wow. That's
If you couldn't be an actor, what else would you like to do in the theater arts?
Well, currently I teach theater, high school theater, so that is probably my first choice. But I think if I were going to work maybe behind the scenes, I do really like stage managing. So I think that would be really fun. Or one of my secret hidden talents is helping with quick changes. I feel like I'm really good at that. So I would love to volunteer or work for touring shows or something and be a dresser. I think that'd be really fun.
That is so cool. And you were talking about Little Women. I was in the non-musical Little Women at Raleigh Little Theater, and so I was Marmee, and then there were the four daughters. So all five of us several times had to change at the same time backstage, and we didn't even, they built a special thing so we didn't go downstairs. We just walked back. And I'll never forget it, because you just had to trust that this dresser was going to do the right thing, because you just stood there. They told you not to do anything, and they undressed you and dressed you, and you went back on without even knowing what you looked like. And I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I know. I love that. I just directed The Drowsy Chaperone at Apex High School, and there's a quick change. We timed it out. It's like 30 seconds. 4 girls change into wedding dresses.
Oh.
And they go out the doors, line up. And I was like, okay, here we go. We choreographed the whole thing. The first day they came on, it was amazing. And we actually had one of the girls end up performing 2 nights on crutches. Wow. And had to do the quick change into the wedding dress with crutches. It was crazy. But I love that when people come out and it's totally different costume. You're like, how did they do it?
Exactly. Now, did you get to do that show with the?
We did.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, we were lucky. Ours was the beginning of March, so we just got it in.
Thank God.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, which is not much for you, and you could tell the younger version of yourself any advice about theater, what advice would you tell yourself?
I think I would tell myself to do more, to get involved more, especially trying out different aspects of theater, because in high school, for example, I didn't do the play until my senior year. I did all the musicals, but I felt like, oh, I'm going to focus on my schoolwork this semester and try and get into the start of school and everything. But I think I would have really enjoyed trying that, because now I prefer doing plays over musicals, but then I didn't. But I think that would have been a good experience, or to try, running the light board or different things earlier on to kind of figure out how the whole thing works, not just one part of it.
That's great.
What's the first thing you want to do when we're no longer locked down, we actually can go out and be with other people?
I want to go kayaking so bad. I love kayaking at Lake Johnson in the summer, and I don't think they're doing boat rentals right now, but that is the first thing I'm going to do. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Have you been there to walk?
Yeah. Not this summer. I've just been going around my neighborhood, but I usually do.
Okay. Because you know how they have 2 sections? They have the paved and then the unpaved. So we go the unpaved all the time, and it's not that crowded at all.
Oh, yeah.
So you definitely could still be social distancing and get it done.
Yeah. I've been trying to get back into running. So I've been going around. There's a 2-mile loop sort of around my neighborhood. I do not run the whole way yet. I'm trying to, but.
Do you notice people who actually will, I just went for a walk and I see someone coming up the sidewalk, so I just go to the street.
Yeah.
And apologize. I'm not being rude. I'm just,
Oh, they know. Yeah.
Some people won't though. I've had that. It's been frustrating me, because if I'm walking with traffic, I don't want to step into the street where I can't see the car behind me, But if someone's not moving, I'm like, I guess I'm going in this person's yard.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole different world out there.
Yeah.
It really is. But thank you so much. This has been great to see you. And I was thinking back to Plaza Suite that you did at the Halley, and how, thank goodness, we were able to let you sneak into that bathroom and not have to sit there for the entire scene waiting to come out.
That was so funny. That was a great show too. I remember, Kathleen, you said, would you be willing to do this part that has only one line? You only have to come for Tech Week. I'm like, that is my dream.
Yeah,
yes.
Right? That's right.
I think Jonathan had to keep because I had to pound the door. Didn't Jonathan have to keep the door so it would not be
I think
knocked over?
so. Yeah.
That would have defeated the purpose if you knocked on the door and it fell open.
Yes.
Or, yeah, that would not.
That was so much fun.
That was so much fun. That was really great. But thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you outside someday.
Yes, hopefully.
Other than just Facebook.
Right.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
well,
Laura.
thank you guys.
Okay. Bye.